100 Americans versus 100 British people is like not even close. I don't want to call it a joke, but it certainly feels like one. Hey fellas, and welcome back to With a Y. When I say that Americans like have this in a clean sweep, I want to be clear. This is not like some sort of national pride call. In fact, all the arguments you'll see of why Americans are damn near built for this stuff strongly relate to how dog shit it is to live here. The last time I did one of these was like 100 men versus one gorilla, and like statistically, just they will eventually pull that out. Like, it is very likely that they will wear it down, and we've already hashed out this argument. But I'd like to start in a similar place with the 100 Americans versus 100 British people. There's just more of us. And it's not all Americans versus all British people. I mean this to say that it is more likely for us to have produced 100 freaks of nature, and the pool you can pull from is just bigger than, like, the toughest fighters you can from Britain. Some of the greatest fighters in the world are British. There's no denying that, but this is like an all-out brawl. That is like one of the less fun arguments, so I'm gonna try not to get ahead of myself. Instead, I want to look at some of the takes that people on TikTok discussing this issue have been having. This was the first video I ever saw on this topic, and I think this guy was saying this very lightheartedly. I don't think he meant anything major by it, but listen, if there's one thing Americans will not take lying down, it's an affront to the country that we all hate. If you're a European, don't talk shit.
100 Americans versus 100 Brits, and you Americans actually think you have a chance? Are you joking? Anybody saying that America would win have clearly never walked through a council estate on an average Tuesday morning and witnessed a furious mum in her dressing gown screaming at a child in the street.
Of the things that could happen in the daily life of Brits, I'm not sure like how that is supposed to be uniquely gritty. I see parents yell at their children in public all the time and everywhere I go in the States.
I've seen people saying like, wait till we get the people from Florida, wait till we call up the people from the red states.
No, you don't understand. Wait until we get the people from Florida is a warning. Florida might just be the most free place in the world, as in it is lawless. Florida, man, is not just a joke. People actually wrestle alligators down there. People actually fight over the littlest things down there. Shit is not sweet. This guy says that anybody who believes the Americans would win is rage baiting. You want to know who I've been consistently seeing would win between 100 Americans and 100 British people? Any British person that's been to America.
I'm a Brit that's spent a lot of time in America, so I feel I'm qualified to answer this question. And the Brits don't stand a chance.
I want to make this clear. I don't think I'm in the upper echelon of Americans that could take on the upper echelon of tough British people. I'm not saying all Americans could beat all British people. I like to think I don't blow that much smoke up my ass, when I definitely blow some, but only small amounts. Also, just a quick reminder that there are only a few days left to grab my limited edition U2's vinyl figure. This guy had a lot of love put into him, but when he's gone, and he's not coming back. One of the talking points that tends to come up the most is like Waffle House employees. The main clip that went around that like convinced a lot of people that like, oh, this is no joke, was the one video of a Waffle House employee getting a chair thrown at them, and this woman who works at Waffle House deflected it with one hand and managed to do like a little flourish by spinning it when she did. She was spinning that like she was making pizza dough, man. That was impressive. And the thing to know about Waffle House employees is that all of them can scrap, and if you go behind the counter, they have pretty much full permission to do whatever they want to you. Waffle House is so notorious, people have been trying to get it into Tekken 8, and it's probably gonna happen at this point. But it's also like, as a civilian going to Waffle House, you understand the likeliness of a fight breaking out is pretty high at any given time. If you mind your business, it's probably not gonna involve you. You might have to duck a punch or two, but you build up your reflexes like that. I don't know how common fighting in British schools is, but when I was in high school, the place I went to is like, you know, very mixed demographic, and it was like hands for everyone. Every quarter, I almost got punched in the face at least one time just because I was walking in the hallway and not paying attention what was in front of me. I got significantly better at that as time went on, but I'm not kidding when I say this. There have been genuine stories of like people by the dozens of other schools coming to mine and starting to scrap in the goddamn parking lot over, I still don't know what to this day. Like literal fight mobs. America is a very violent place. It's at our core. Whether that's because of the rugged culture of individualism or like the Second Amendment stuff, it doesn't really matter. It is like that though. This is a side tangent. I genuinely don't think Americans would survive a British high school. Dude, every single person I know who went to high school in America, there is at least one corroborated story of a close call with a school shooter, no matter what high school you went to. Mine had bomb threats every year, which to be fair was mostly kids sticking around so they could get out of class. But there was a guy who pulled up with like a shotgun and an AR in his his trunk, and he got caught, thankfully. But this is the type of calculus you're doing on a daily basis when you live here. Even people like me, I've lived an incredibly privileged life. I was like upper middle class growing up. I had things, I wasn't worrying about where my next meal would come from, and these are still things that come up. Even like the staff would get wrangled by some of these kids and get like their faces smashed through windows and then retire early because they just did not want to deal with this bullshit anymore. And there's an anecdotal story I've been hearing going around about how Americans actually do fare in Europe.
I saw a lot of people in the comments mentioning that when the Olympics aren't in America, Americans need to be reminded to not like brutally beat to death the people that attempt to pickpocket them. And I just kind of want to explain why they instinctually do that.
I know like what Britain is like. Stabbing is like the big thing that you guys worry about over there. And it is a problem. I don't mean to downplay that. The thing is, knife crime statistics in the UK versus the US, like the amount of knife murders in the United States is technically higher per million than it is in the UK. And again, this is not to downplay what the UK has to deal with. These problems aren't meant to be like power scaling deals. The truth is, it's just more dangerous over here. Like we have the knife stats and the guns on top of that, and a government that seems to be unwilling to do anything about it at every turn. That said, it's a very American thing. I like my guns. I like guns. That can be true, and this can also be an issue. A lot of people have talked about just like the weather conditions being significantly more varied and extreme in the States because, you know, we love to drill for oil. We be pumping that CO2, baby. It's not actually all because of that, but, you know, in the South, you have insane hurricanes like pretty much every year. There is like a whole season where at least one hurricane tends to come per year that will leave several communities devastated. It's happened to me. I grew up with hurricanes outside, you know, going without power, prepping for that, and like I had friends celebrating because they got off from school and that's all it was to them. The West Coast is on fire all the fucking time. You have Tornado Alley down the middle and you get ridiculous blizzards up in New England on top of the hurricanes that manage to make their way up there. The hottest recorded temperature in the world is in America, and like people actually live where that is. And I want to make it clear, this is not me trying to do like some point of pride. We're so tough. And the UK are full of sissies. No, I don't believe that at all. I think if I lived over there, even with all my experience, I would find myself struggling with a lot of the same things that UK residents do now. But these conditions are so universal to a population that is so fucking unlooked after by its government, and it has a culture of being fucking macho and abrasive. Like, yeah, man, they're throwing hands like Rayman. I want to go back to a few more of these British people speaking on the matter because you don't have to take it from me. Take it from the guys who would have otherwise been on your side.
Seen 100 British boys versus 100 American boys. I just want to say, don't bring it the British girls. Don't involve us. We seen baddies. We see how y'all get down, okay?
People were saying, like, just get 12 bad babies and you don't even need the full 100 stack, man. This is the same guy who I said I first heard this whole scenario proposed by, and I will be honest, he had a really convincing and compelling redemption arc. You know, he got presented with new information, took it in, looked it over, and he came up with a new take now that he was more informed, and that's really respectable, man. I salutes to you. Let's hear what he has to say.
He posted the video saying that 100 Brits would definitely beat 100 Americans, and I would like to revise this statement. The amount of videos that
like just the fear, man. I get it.
The amount of videos that have been made threatening my safety is mental.
Okay, yeah, that's not cool. Don't do that. This is supposed to be fun, guys. Like, I'm talking about this all seriously, but truthfully, this is like supposed to be a good bit of online fun. Don't fucking be sending people real death threats because they had a take that it's like, oh, you sweet summer child.
I was also very confused by people saying that the workers in the Waffle Houses would be the reason that America would win. So I did some research.
Oh my God!
See, it was the stool clip. It's always the metal chair. It's like one of the easiest things you can show to someone to like prove to them that Waffle House is no fucking joke, man. I grew up around Waffle Houses and I started going to them in high school, and like there is a really unique ambience you can only get at one of their locations. Like it was a rule with my friends, like we only went at like the hours of 1 to 3 a.m. Like the witching hour was mandatory for us to be present because that's when Waffle House is truly Waffle House. There was one other British person I saw who was like, let's not do this. Let's not put ourselves through this, fellow Brits.
As a Brit living in America, we are not winning. You could bring your best savages, yeah, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham. We are done. We will be annihilated. These lot are different out here, yeah. I can't lie. Like all my life, we are pack the luggage. Literally, let's go. TSA pre-check.
This guy's energy is really fun. And I'm pretty sure Brummies are like from Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham a few times. I'm not gonna lie, when you come from the fucking shitholes that I've lived in my entire life, even like what is considered to be some of the most dog shit places to live in Britain, where like shit gets serious out there, it looked a lot nicer than like where I grew up, man. Like, I had my comfy little suburban house, but the amenities and the shit to do in a place like Birmingham, it was so much more fulfilling than it was for me. Than like the shit I got to do growing up. Nothing!
America, we don't have a lot of social safety nets that prevent you from just dying from being poor. But I'd be lying if I said the comment section of that pickpocket video didn't make me proud. Because the overwhelming majority of folks on that post said, it's not just about the fact that you're stealing from me. It's about the fact that you don't think you need to confront me and kill me to do it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass if you try to mug me. Not only are you stealing from me, but you think shit's sweet?
This is like the very uniquely American ego, which I very much have, kind of working against us, and also not. Like, we're not worried that we got robbed or mugged or whatever. We're mad that we got disrespected. I want to finish this guy's video, and then we'll wrap it up here, because I think the case is pretty shut and closed, man.
All right, I'm gonna say one thing, all right? 1776 didn't go too well.
That's not a good reason, all right? We had the help from the French, and things are very different now than they were in the Revolutionary War. And we're not talking about, like, fighting redcoats and then, like, militias doing guerrilla attacks. We're talking, like, street brawl rules, I imagine. Hand-to-hand, nobody picking up pipes, no guns. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. That kwytebox email's in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Anyways, piss off.